Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me now. All right, so this is me redoing the Thursday night live stream. Um, there was some technical difficulties with the audio. I guess I had my headphones plugged in and I didn't realize that I didn't change the input output. So hopefully it's working now. Um, and yeah, so I'm just gonna wait for you guys to join the live stream, and we'll get this going. Because it says that, yeah, it shows that, yeah, the microphone's working. Yep. Okay. So, how is your guys' Thursday night going? Feel free to comment in the top chat, and yeah, we can start a conversation. Hello, Mario Mania 1234. Hi again. I know. Sorry about that. The audio issue. Um, I fixed it. Hopefully, I believe it's fixed. So, um, karaoke tea. Uh, hey, how are you? Uh, I'm good. How are you doing? Don't know if you're a new subscriber, but welcome. Welcome to my channel. How's your guys' night going? Or your evening? How's your evening going? Your Thursday evening? You're new? Okay. Have you seen any of my short films? Have you watched any of them? Which ones have you seen? I'm doing okay. How was your week? How? Sorry, I'm doing okay. How has your week gone? It's really good. Um, yeah. Could be a lot worse. I really enjoy the holidays. I really enjoy December time. The month December. It was a little. It was fun more so when I lived in Wisconsin because we had snow all the time there. Out here in PA, it doesn't snow nowhere near as much as it used to. Um, or in general, I've lived here in PA for let's see, 4, almost 5 years. 5 years next year, next May. Um, so yeah, I've seen snow out here, and I've had experiences with snow and really cold weather, and I've filmed my movies in cold weather before out here, but nothing like Wisconsin though. So, Halloween New Blood. Okay, have you seen any others besides Halloween New Blood? Uh, I would recommend the Twilight short, The Devil's Servant, as well. To me, the highlights of my films, like my best movies, are The Devil's Servant, Halloween New Blood, and Confession, a Twilight fan short. And probably The Destiny of a Ghostface Part 2, and maybe The First Jester? No, 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 Insane. I say I say the Insane series in general, because the Insane movies are kind of like this one long movie to me. So, but yeah, I recommend to check out the Insane movies because there is a new Insane film that came out, Insane Cage of Madness Part 1 last year, and I'm gonna be filming Part 2 next year. And, I recommend The Double Servant because there's gonna be a sequel to it, next year as well. So, anyway, so Mario Mania, you are my moderator once again, which is really cool. For now on, you're gonna be my moderator. So, Um, all right, so we're gonna talk about movies here. Uh, hello, Eric. Veer, Eric Verthaler, Eric Veer Holler, 92. Hello. Um, yeah, so we're gonna talk about movies. We're gonna talk about TV. We're gonna talk about games and anything else. You guys just comment whatever on the top chat. We'll discuss whatever. Um, I did react to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer. I don't know if you guys have seen that on my channel. I haven't read the comments yet. I have seen some likes with the Scream 5 TV spots reaction. Um, I was really nervous to react to the Scream 5 TV spots because TV spots have been known to like give a lot away. So but the TV spots didn't seem too bad. It didn't seem like it was really giving too much away. It just seemed like it was just showing a little bit more than what we've seen. But uh, yeah. But anyway, you guys can hear my opinion and all that about the TV spots on in the video. But yeah, yeah, I recorded those yesterday and put those together. So because I once I saw that there was a Scream 5 TV spot, with that like that mask, that crow mask. Oh my god. I was like, "What?" And, the flamethrower, like, that's crazy. So, it's probably, a stab movie. If that's not a stab movie in Scream 5, then that's very interesting because it makes me wonder, well, yeah, like, Ghostface has to have well, maybe Ghostface does have different masks in this movie until the 3rd act. I feel like he's not gonna have that original mask until the 3rd act of the movie, which seems like the 3rd act's gonna be at Stu's house. Um, but, because we see a chrome mask and then the mask that in earlier in the trailers looks more like Scream 4 mask and the TV series mask season 3, and it doesn't really look like the old mask until you get to those shots of Ghostface when he's like at Stu's house. That's when I can tell that's the original authentic mask. Seems like it's going to be a really dark entry. Good. We need a dark Scream movie, about time, because it's been so meta, which, that is a part of the Scream franchise. But what's happened now is a lot of people that I've known is that they can't get into Scream because of Scary Movie. And I feel like if they make this film very serious, very dark, then those people that aren't necessarily a fan of the Scream movies because of Scary Movie will be more drawn to it or will like it, because the tone is taken very seriously. Because Scream 3 was very goofy, and then 4 had some goofy parts as well. But it looks like, yeah, they're going to be taken a lot more seriously this time around, which is good. A Scream movie should be intense. Ghostface should be terrifying. He should not be, comical. I mean, we've seen that before, him tripping over stuff and falling and, all that. It'd be nice to see a ghost face that means business, and really isn't there to play. He's there to, um, I mean, he wants to play a game, no duh, but what game is he playing? Because it seems like a completely different game than the previous Ghost Faces. It just seems like a different motive and yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of like the rumors, that like I don't know, that went on like a year ago or whatever about like Billy being Ghostface or Stu being Ghostface, or they're gonna make a return, in the film or something. Like, what do you guys think of that? Do you guys think that we're gonna see old characters return, or we gonna see flashbacks? Or do you think they're gonna do like de-aging stuff? Like, I wonder if we're gonna get like a lot of flashbacks that are set in 1996. Um, you know, uh, I'm curious. And then I also wonder who is that character in the trailer that's sitting in the wheelchair? Who's that sitting in the wheelchair? And Ghostface is behind him. I wonder, that could be a major character, and we have no idea. So Um, I think your ghost face, to be honest, you're a killer. Oh my god. Oh, David. Oh my god. Well, I have dressed up as Ghostface before. I have played Ghostface in my Scream fan films. Mostly the Destiny of Ghostface Part 1 and Part 2. I played the Ghostface army in that so I created multiple versions of myself like in editing and all that. I had to study like how to do all those trick photography shots like they do. But yeah, I've played Ghostface before and I tell you that robe, oh my god. I don't know how I don't know how anyone can do anything wearing that robe, that cloak, that ghost face cloak. Like, how can you run in that? Like, it's so difficult to run in that cloak. I tripped when I was filming Destiny of Ghostface Part 2. I tripped over a log and almost broke my foot. I almost broke my foot. Like, it was so bad, but yeah, that robe is that cloak is no joke, that Ghostface cloak. It's no joke. It depends on how they pull it off. Uh, it could come off corny or amazing. Yeah, it could be, like, corny like Scream 4, certain things that fell flat, or it could be yeah, it could be easily amazing. Like, I would love for it to feel like the first 2 movies, but it's just a little darker because it's for modern audiences today. But here's the thing, the first Scream movie was dark, and the second one had dark moments as well, but the first movie has a very serious tone, and it's too bad with the re-release, the 4K, that they didn't give us the unrated cut, that was on the VHS, because, like, the unrated cut was, like, slightly more, intense, and it's too bad, I really hope one day that they do release the, unrated cut of Scream. Um, don't break your foot. You're gonna need it to twerk to Mariah Carey Saturday. Like, don't break your foot. I will make sure I do not break my foot. Get to twerk to Mariah Carey Saturday. Looking forward to it. Um, so, uh, alright, let's talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that's coming out. The direct sequel, it's another direct sequel to the first movie, and, when I clicked on that trailer, I didn't know what to expect. I was like, "This could really be bad," or, it could catch my attention. Now, it's either a really good trailer or there is, possibility that this could be a decent entry. Finally, we might get a decent entry in fran this franchise. And it's saying Netflix, I don't know, it just gives me a little bit more hope for this movie compared to the previous films. That Leatherface movie was so bad. So as long as it's not like that, um, I went as Ghostface like 3 times as a kid for Halloween, and the costume was always uncomfortable, LOL. Yeah, yeah. It is see, like, when you dress up as Michael Myers, the jumpsuit's easy to wear. The mask isn't. But Ghostface, the mask is easy to wear. The cloak, the robe isn't. So, yeah, it's a little entertaining. I went as Jason one year. I think the Freddy versus Jason, because I had that costume all the time when I was growing up, because that Freddy versus Jason came out in 2003, and that was the age that I was trick or treating. So yeah, I went as Jason. I went as Freddy Krueger one year, um, and I went as like the Mummy. I went as uh, Dracula. I went as the Joker. I went as let's see. Um, yeah, I dressed up as a lot of different characters. Yeah, and I would just dress up as movie characters when I was a kid. I would literally dress up as a Star Wars character or Indiana Jones or uh, bunch of different characters. I'd dress up in Men in Black, I'd wear the sunglasses, and I'd have, like, the toy neuralizer, like, I was obsessed with, like, film as a kid, so, watching movies growing up, I think that was what just triggered me to just wanna be an actor, a director, a writer. It was just that. It was growing up with all those films and dressing up as those characters and being a part of those events and standing in line for all these movies and seeing other people dress up as characters, like, it just it's like almost like a community, and I was like, "Wow, this is really cool," and, yeah, so I took video production classes growing up in middle school, high school. I was a part of a school. I was part of a news program at my high school and my middle school, so I got to learn a lot about how to edit, how to use a camera, like stuff that I sort of knew but didn't know, and I was really educated as to how and what went into it. And it's like I learned that editing didn't take overnight, and that um, I learned so much about how to edit video and uh, I learned about animation. I'm not good with animation at all. I'm terrible at animation, but I took a class and that was a lot of fun. And yeah, like the Miner versus Jason and Ghostface story, like why that's black and white. Because like when I took a video production class when I was growing up that taught me a lot about film and taught me a lot about the use of black and white, and it always intrigued me because like I love the movies like Psycho, and I love Night of the Living Dead, and just those classics that are in black and white, and I wanted to make my own black and white horror film, but I was like, how cool would it be if it was for Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine, and Scream? We've never seen that. I wanted to do something that nobody's ever seen before in that sense. So, yeah. But yeah, that Ghostface costume is no joke. It's no joke by any means. Um, so props to anybody that worn it. My stepdad, well, he was in the military, and so I got him to play as a stunt actor as Ghostface for Ghostface versus Jason and the Miner versus Jason. The cloak was not easy for him either. So, but yeah, yeah. Ghostface is always going to be a great character because anyone can be Ghostface. It's an entity. Ghostface is an entity. It's not one person. So, y- you know, the main three characters, like, you know, I don't know. What's so strange is Dewey and Gale are like freaking out. You can tell in the trailer. They're like, oh God, it's happening, and this could be like really really bad. But then Sydney's like, yep, I've been through this. Let's go take him down. And then she's like, I've been through this a lot. This is your life now, which means whoever this is going to keep coming for you. It's just, I don't know, a little bizarre to me that she knows the killer's motive. How does she know that this ghost face motive is this new girl? You know what I mean? Like this new ghost face, his motive can be completely, you don't even know. And Sydney's acting like she knows. And I know she's been through it 4 times in a row, but it's a new person. It's not the same ghost face unless it's Billy or Stu. But even if it's them, like, would that be their motive? So, but I like that in the trailer where she's like, "I've seen this movie," and he's like, "Not this movie, Sydney." That was great. "Not this movie, Sydney." That's a new iconic line for me. Yeah. I've seen this movie before, not this movie, Sydney. Yeah. That's I cannot get that out of my head now. It's exciting. Like, I'm geeking out. Like, I'm nervous because it could be bad, but at the same time, I don't want it to be bad because, like, why would us Scream fans want Scream 5 to be bad, you know? So, it's Doofy from Scary Movie 1. You know what? honestly, I thought Dewey was the killer in Scream 2. When I first saw Scream 2, I thought Dewey was Ghostface, actually. I actually thought he was Ghostface. I really believe that. Um, because when he, like, he had the limp, when he walked that certain way, like, I knew he was stabbed in the back, but at the same time, when I first watched it, I thought he was Ghost, and he was pretending, and he really was Ghostface, and he was, it was gonna be revealed in the 3rd act. That's why he was mean to Gail, and was distant, with he was like, I don't know. Um, but of course, it was revealed that it wasn't, Dewey. But that actually would be pretty interesting because everyone's like, "Oh, Dewey's gonna get it in the trailer." I mean, in the trailer, people are like, "Oh, Dewey's gonna get it in the movie." But what if that is to throw us off? What if Dewey is Ghostface? And see, though, to me, what would make the most sense if any of the original three were Ghostface, it would be Gale, because Scream 4 kind of, to me, set that up, because in Scream 4, Gail is miserable. She is no longer, a reporter. Um, she just hates her life. She just hates where she lives. She hates Woodsboro, and she's just kind of sick of it. And she's always been jealous of Sydney. She's always had some problem with Sydney. Um, and then if you notice, Gail's always there when something happens in the old movie. So to me, it would make the most sense if it was her, um, because I feel like Gale was the only character out of all three of them that could go that way, because of how everything was impacting her in Scream 4. I don't know. I just felt like that could be a certain setup if they wanted to go there, with any of the original three. But Gale would make the most sense because Gale has a lot of jealousy to Sydney. Um, but even though they worked it out, they became best friends by the end of Scream 3, right? I mean, when they saw each other in Scream 4, though, Sydney, you know, it was like she went back to Scream 3, like, Gail, we're friends, it's in the past, but Gail was there, jealous and didn't really say much to Sydney, and obviously you could tell that she had some sort of beef with her. So, it would make a lot of sense, especially that, like, um, Judy Hicks she has a huge crush on Dewey. So, there's the whole, like, there could be an affair, an affair could have been going on that Gail didn't know about during Scream 4, between Dewey and um, Hicks. Um, I have a really big theory about it, of who the killers are. I have two big theories of who Ghostfaces are in Scream 5, and that would be, my guess would be the new girl that is supposed to be the next Sydney, and that guy that's, like, right next to her, the guy that, like, gets attacked in the trailer, and he's with her. I don't know if that's her boyfriend or whatever, or brother. I don't I haven't really looked at all the character names, but, um, Sydney, when she goes up to that girl and she says, "I've been through this a lot," the guy's right next to her. I don't know, I just get this vibe between those 2 in that moment, like, good acting by them, but, like, what if they're Ghostface, and they're like, "Whoa, Sydney's coming up to us and talking to us," like they were caught off guard. Um, I could see that. I really could see those 2 as Ghostface. Another one I could see is, Judy Hicks, and, was it Wes Hicks? Doesn't she have a son in this movie? I don't, fully know his name, but, um, I have a fan theory that Billy, maybe, secretly dated her, back in '96 when he was dating Sydney, and maybe he had a kid with her, and that's why that moment, like, when she's, like, hidden in the dark, and she's like, "We used to go to school together," and Sydney's like, "I don't remember you," you know, maybe there's something there. So I'm trying to think of, like, the franchise in general, like, how can connecting the dots, um, and thinking, like, who could be Ghostface? It really honestly, it could be anybody, especially that they shot 10 different endings to this movie, like different actors playing Ghostface, like different killer reveals. And they did that intentionally to avoid leaks, which is really smart. And so the official ending they know, and that's definitely like locked and keyed until it comes out. But smart, good on them for shooting different endings for the movie. So in case stuff gets leaked, it's not the actual ending. You know. And then if that did happen, they could easily go ahead and add in the end an ending that they originally didn't plan on including, but because it got leaked, they include that one. Like very smart thinking with the studio. Uh, Certainly would be comical Mario, LOL. I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night yesterday for the first time. It's a good Christmas slasher movie. Have you seen it? Yes, I have. I recommended it to you, David. So I'm glad you checked it out. It's definitely probably my favorite, aside from Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas, and I do like the remake. The remake actually was good, not the new one that just like came out recently, but the 2006 remake was actually really good. But other than the Black Christmas movies, definitely Silent Night, Deadly Night is a classic, and yeah, uh, grown up Billy is hot. um, yeah, so it's interesting is that these new characters in Scream 5, they don't come off as over the top like Scream 3 and 4. Um, and maybe now we're learning a little bit that maybe Wes Craven sometimes could go over the top with his characters. Because it just seems like the characters in this are more like the way they were in the first two films, just regular people that could be Ghostface instead of all this meta stuff. Like I didn't get those vibes from the trailers. Like I definitely feel like it's being taken more seriously, which is good because I just don't want like a bunch of meta-ness, a bunch of that. I definitely want a story, a really good story with these characters and a third act that we're like, whoa, like I want it to be the best Scream movie, to be honest, and I don't know if it can. You can't beat the original movie or Scream 2. I've always looked at the first two movies as like the same film because they came out both at like the same time, 96, 97, similar music, and Kevin Williamson wrote both scripts, beginning to end. So um, yeah, I don't know how you're gonna surpass the first 2 films, but anything's possible, anything's possible 'cause, there has been entries in franchises where people said they liked it more than the first movie, and they didn't think they were gonna like it more than the first movie. And since the original cast is in this and you have Roger Jackson doing the voice as Ghostface and, Kevin Williamson's involved in this, he's an executive producer, I'm sure he's had involvement with the writing with this movie. Um, I definitely see, that it has potential because it's not like it's new people and it's brand new cast and crew. Like there are originals that are returning, and it gives me optimism that it's still possible this could be the best Scream film. But anyway, um, it has a good chance of being better than 3 and 4. Oh yeah, yeah. Like even I'll be happy with that. Like even if I can walk out of the theater and say it was better than Scream 3 and 4, I'll be fine with that because then I can watch Scream 1, 2, and then Scream 5, but they call it Scream. Um, you know what? That TV spot that came out where it said Bad Blood, that actually I think I would have preferred that title over it just being called Scream. If they called it Scream Bad Blood, I I mean, at least that's a title, you know? At least that's a title and it's not what they've been doing, with like all these movies is just calling it the original title of the movie. Um, they yeah, if they weren't gonna call it Scream 5, at least call it Scream something. I don't know, Scream Bad Blood has a good catch catchphrase. I don't know, too. I don't know. It sounds um not too bad. Um, but everybody thinks that the next that Scream 6 is gonna be called Scream Kills, which is really funny. I hope they just call it Scream 6, and, like, with the E in the word the lettering, that the E turns into a 6, Scree 6M, Scream 6. I really hope that they do that, um 'cause I don't know, I just don't see this franchise being Scream something, I see it being numbered. I like it being called Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5, because it's just it's like the Friday series is just numbering, the entries, so it's kinda like this one long series, and they're numbered, so it's like, different chapters, split in the different films, so different, numbering. Um Yeah, I mean, they could do Scream Ghostface Returns, Scream Ghostface Lives, Scream Lives, Scream Forever, Scream Again, Scream Kills. I don't know. They're definitely gonna do something, but Scream Bad Blood. I don't know. That doesn't sound too bad to me. But anyway, uh, I've seen this movie before. Not this movie, Sydney. 5 being the only one 5 being the only one without a number would be annoying. LOL. I know, like, out of all the Scream films, I'd want Scream 5 to be lettered. I mean, to be numbered, sorry, numbered, because it's perfect. The S turning into a 5, what a wasted opportunity, you know? That's such a great way to promote your title of your movie, because it's like, okay, it's the 5th entry, but five's in the title. With I mean, they did that with Scream 4, and it was great, and Scream 4 still did well at the box office. It didn't do as well as it could have, but the economy was really bad in 2011, and I think that had a big part of it, because the economy started to get really bad in 2009, 2008, 2009, and that affected movies for quite a while. Um, so I think Scream 4 was a part of that time where that film was hurt, due to um, the due to its time. I think if Scream 4 would have came out in like 2015, 2014, 2016, like, any of those years, I think it would have done better. Um, than it did in 2011, or if they would have released Scream 4 years before, if they would have made a Scream 4 like in 2006, or 2007, um, let's just say that we would have gotten a Scream 4 in like December of 2007, or like December of 2008. I think that would have been probably a better time for Scream 4. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But then I wonder why it's called Scream, because they're like, this isn't a reboot, it's not this or that, you know? So I wonder, why are they really calling it Scream? Like, is it because they want to make more profit because it's just called Scream? Or is there something in the plot why it is deliberately called Scream? Like maybe there is something in the film that gives you the reason why it's only called Scream, that's the only way they can redeem this title just being called Scream, my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, what are you guys most looking forward to with Scream 5? And yeah, who do you think is the killer and or killers? I just want to know what you guys think. Probably a marketing tactic. Yep, probably. Same with Halloween 2018. They could have called Halloween 2018 H40, and that would have been perfect. That sounds better than H2O because it's not water, H40 would have been a brilliant title because it would have been H40, Halloween kills, Halloween ends. That's just that would have, oh, you know. And I think that still would have sold if they would have called it H40, Halloween 40 years later, because it's not like it's numbered as Halloween this or Halloween that. It's just it's basically saying, hey, it's been 40 years since the first movie. Go see this movie because it's 40 years later. You know, and that's why H2O did so well at the box office back in '98. You know, today that would probably be 300 million worldwide. I guarantee you. If they can surprise me, I'll be happy. Yep. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's a great film, then I can get past the title not being called Scream, 5. As long as it's a great movie, for sure. Okay. So, um, I heard something about Gun Media announcing their next game. I'm not sure if that means, they're gonna be making another Friday the 13th video game, or if they're gonna be making a Halloween video game, or the heavily rumored Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. There was an announcement. I still have to check that out on YouTube because they're revealing that today. So that's exciting because I've been if they're going to um, if they're not going to continue the Friday game, they're not gonna, do any upgrades, changes to the game. I mean, they left that game behind a long time ago, I'm sure, because of the rights. So it would be, you know, good for them to tackle a new slasher and pretty much do the same thing that they did with the Friday 13th video game, but with a different slasher and a different setting, different locations. But I've never played it, but it looks good. Yeah, if you haven't played Friday the 13th video game, I highly recommend it. The servers aren't as strong as they were a few years ago, but it's still doing well. I play it on the Xbox and PlayStation, um, and it's a fun experience. You feel like you're at Camp Crystal Lake and you're trying to hide from Jason and trying to survive and it has that 80s style to it, and it's like the lighting is like really dark, so it's like horrifying because when you're like running in the forest and you can't see anything and you hear that music and Jason's behind you, it's like, ah. Or when you play as Jason, that's incredibly fun as well because you can play as part two Jason, you can play as part three, final chapter, new beginning, Jason lives, new blood, Jason takes Manhattan, Jason goes to hell, and they never added Jason X. But I did see this mod on YouTube. I think there was this PC mod that was made by fans that showed the Jason X map, and you're playing as one of the characters, like you're trying to run away from Jason on a ship in space, and it's like Chrome Jason, after you, not Chrome, uh, robotic Jason or whatever you call him. But that would have been really cool to put in the game because even though Jason X isn't really my favorite at all of the franchise, that would have been a really cool thing to have included. But it's all the right stuff and stuff like that. So, but it's crazy because like they got the rights to Jason Goes to Hell, design and costume of him. So it's surprising they couldn't get the Jason X. They didn't even have the Friday remake, Jason in there. But I'm sure they would have added all that had the rights issues, not if that just didn't even exist, if the studio if the franchise was in good hands and there wasn't any of this going on, and it could just be what the Halloween franchise is now or what the Chucky series is now, that's all I want for Friday the 13th, is for the franchise to be on that level again. Even if they gave us a rebooted trilogy that's set in the 80s and it's like, pretty much like all 8 films, but like, shortened into three films. Um, that would be cool as well. I mean, because they can always create new timelines and all that. Because us fans are used to that now with horror films. We're I think we're a little more open minded than Star Wars fans when it comes to different timelines and ignoring previous movies and just going with it. Because with Star Wars fans, they would go crazy if let's just say, "Oh, we're gonna retcon everything after the original Star Wars and start over, and it's gonna be a direct sequel to A New Hope, and it's gonna be something entirely different," and, a lot of fans would be angry, so, um, I definitely see, like, Halloween fans, like, more giving, the franchise a chance to do new things. And I guess that's just horror fans in general. We just, we're more open-minded to that stuff. How do you feel about the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash concept? I think that would have been awesome. I would have loved that. I think it would have been a really good movie because it would have been Robert Englund as Freddy. We could have gotten Kane Hodder as Jason, and then we would have had, the actor who plays Ash, and you would have had three icons throughout the whole film, fighting each other, or whatever the plot would be. So it'd be like an Evil Dead movie, but he's up against Freddy and Jason, um, over this book, you know. Uh, it would it would have been really really cool, and I think it would have been better, way better than that TV show that they made for a while. It got canceled, I think, but that would have been awesome. I would have loved Michael Myers versus Pinhead. I know not everybody is uh, woo about that idea, that concept, but I think that would have been really really cool. And knowing that Clive Barker was gonna write it and John Carpenter was gonna direct it is crazy. That would have been really interesting, and that would have been cool. Even if the movie would have turned out to been bad, still, it was the fact that Clive Barker wrote it, John Carpenter directed it, there would have been some sort of magic that would have came out of it, even if it wouldn't have been the best movie. Just the fact that the Dimension would have tried back then, with those two characters, and who knows what would have happened after that. If that would have been a success, we may have never have gotten the remakes to Halloween. We could have gotten another sequel to that, or they would have experimented with Michael Myers, versing another character or something. Or they would have done a different sequel that would have been connected to that versing film. So who knows where the franchise would have went if they would have done that. And we know Mustafa Akkad had plans to do a Halloween 9 after Resurrection. He was going to do, I think there was rumors throughout that time it was going to be called Halloween The Missing Years, and it was gonna be almost like a flashback movie where it was gonna go into stuff throughout the franchise that you never saw before, like stuff that Michael Myers did throughout those decades that you never saw, you know, because H2O did kind of restart, the timeline. So if you think about it, you know, they could have made a bunch of prequels to H2O if they wanted to. They would have had to been really slick about it, really creative. But yeah, they could have easily have done something. Um, it would have been interesting to see what Mustafa would have done. But at the same time, I do enjoy the remakes. Were they necessary? No. Halloween did not need to be remade. It didn't. But for it to be Rob Zombie, I was impressed because I actually thought he wasn't even gonna stick to any form of the source material. But, yeah, those turned out okay, those turned out good. Um, but then we got Halloween 2018, and then we got Halloween Kills, and I'm 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 one of the I'm one of the few that really like, that's my favorite Halloween film, and a lot of people can disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But when I saw that in the theater, I was like, "Yeah, this is for sure my favorite Halloween movie. This is awesome." And, the whole mob mentality and all that in that film, to me, like, it annoyed me at first, and it kinda still does annoy me, but the movie does show the consequences of a mob and what can happen with a mob, and that when bunch of people are, like, freaking out together, people are tripping, people are falling, throwing each other, smashing stuff, breaking things, and nobody can agree on one little thing that the whole crowd wants to do. Everybody just wants to do their own thing and go crazy. So, I did like that they kept that realistic, and also people are kind of stupid in these kind of situations in horror movies, and probably in real life they would be as well. I think a lot of people would go into shock seeing Michael Myers, just a man in a mask like that, holding that butcher knife, and you know, you know that appearance. I think that's probably why so many characters, it was hard for them to fight back, or they didn't know what to do because they don't know Michael Myers' next move or what he's going to do. And yeah, it's kind of cool to see that Michael is smarter than the victims, because Michael Myers is smart, and it's like about time that Michael Myers was like the smart one out of all the characters in the movie, because you want the villain to be smart, and that's what makes him more terrifying. And I'm really looking forward to the extended edition that's coming out, because I hear there's going to be some extended stuff, and it sounds really good. There's going to be an alternate ending because they changed the ending because they're doing a time jump to 4 years for Halloween Ends. So I'm looking forward to how that's going to be. I assume probably the final shot of the movie in the extended cut is probably when Laurie is walking out of the hospital and she's holding the butcher knife. That's probably like the last shot of the movie, because at the end of Halloween 2018, the last shot of that film was Allison holding the knife. So it would make sense if it was Laurie holding the knife, as the last shot of the movie. I feel like that was the original ending, but probably because it's a time jump, they cut that out, which is smart. You know, I was very confused with um, uh, um, God, what's her name? Uh, Karen. Um, I actually was surprised by her death scene. I didn't think she was gonna die, because like he was with the mob, just messing them all up, killing all of them. So when she went into the house, I was not expecting him to show up behind her. And at first, I'm like, this has to be a dream. This is such a dream scene, because the way that like it's edited and shot, the way he stabs her and these angles, it's kind of like, are they trying to throw us off? Like, like, or something? It was a little bizarre to me. Um, and it made it harder for me to believe that, like, wow, she actually was killed off. So I do wonder, also because they do cut out that alternate ending. um what if, yeah, what if that ending there is a dream sequence, and like that's the beginning of the next film, and then Karen wakes up, you know but here's the thing, like, I don't think Judy Greer is in the cast for Halloween Ends, but if so, I would not be surprised if that was a dream and she wakes up to it, because that whole scene feels very dreamlike. It does not feel um, like that would have really happened, because it's, how did Michael Myers get to the house that quick? He doesn't teleport like Jason, and he appears behind her so odd. Like, he doesn't, like, you don't see him like walking to her from behind, like, for a certain amount of time, like dramatic music, like, "Oh my god, he's behind her, he's behind her, he's behind her." He just boom appears. Like, where did he come from? Was he hiding under the bed? Like what? So, I still that's up in the air to me that actually did happen, that she actually did die because that came off very much as a dream sequence. But they have confirmed that she did die, but I don't know. Um, the story actually makes perfect sense. I think it would have been cool to see, yeah, the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. That actually, yeah, that would have been awesome. The whole ending of that movie seemed really dreamy, but I liked it in a way. Yeah, yeah. It did have a dream element to it, like the way it was edited and stuff. So it does throw you off a bit, like, how much of this is legit in the storyline, and um, you wonder, but um, they that I'm just really curious as to where they're gonna go with Halloween Ends. Like, it's the last movie, and I just wonder what they're gonna do. Like, what is Michael Myers gonna be doing, in those 4 years? Where has he been? You know? And then I hear they're going to incorporate, something, in the film, uh, that, something that's happened to our world, recently, and they're gonna incorporate that. So I wonder if that is supposed to be something where they're like Michael Myers is gonna get, you know, the virus or something, and that's what's gonna destroy him. Like, I don't know, um, because he is an old man, but, like, I don't even think, that would even destroy Michael Myers. He's too powerful, you know? Um, but I don't know, like, what do you guys think, like, how Halloween Ends is gonna be? Like, the movie will end, or what the plot's gonna be? Like, it's 4 years later, you know? So, my guess is she's not gonna be like Laurie in Rob Zombie's H2, like, whiny and screaming and going nuts. I think she's gonna be, like, traumatized, but it's not gonna be, like, on that Rob Zombie level. Um, even though, H2 to me is the most realistic, Halloween film when it comes to the character's PTSD. I've had my experience with PTSD, and I've known many people with PTSD, and, it's pretty accurate, to be honest. When you go through a traumatic event, it takes a toll on you your entire life, if it was that traumatic, and it's very hard to move on because it's like you can never really move on. So it was a very realistic interpretation of PTSD, representation of PTSD, especially like Annie, that she was like keeping it together, but she was still a little, messed in the head. Like, I really liked how that was done. But So we'll see what they do with Allison, but to me, she's going to be stronger than she was, but at the same time, she's going to be struggling, and she's traumatized. I mean, she lost her boyfriend, she lost her dad, she lost her mom, so she pretty much lost her entire family, and all she has is her grandmother. Only to, she probably has that sixth sense, that her grandmother is going to eventually die from Michael Myers, and she's like, "Oh, great," like, she's now an orphan, and it's sad. You feel bad for Allison, because, like, I love that one part in Halloween Kills when, Allison's like, when she talks to Liney, and she's like, "You knew my dad," and he's like, "Yeah, I knew Ray," and he tells her a story, and then she just starts to cry, but you can tell she was in that fight or flight, you know, that is a representation of PTSD, as well as, when you go through a traumatic event, it may not necessarily hit you right away. It hits you later, so you're in like a survival mode, for a little bit, and then eventually when that goes away, then boom, then that PTSD hits you, and it's there. But that was also an interesting representation of PTSD with Allison in Halloween Kills, is that she was in so much shock, that she couldn't even comprehend everything that happened. So she's like, "All right, we're gonna hunt him down. We're gonna put an end to this," because she was in that fight or flight. And I liked her story arc in this. A lot more. There was a lot more to her character, I felt like, than Halloween 2018, because she was involved. Like she was trying to, you know, take down Michael Myers. She was trying to hunt him down, and she just had a little bit more of a story arc to me in this film. And people think that Allison, could become like another Michael Myers. That's been a theory for a long time. I think since Halloween 2018 came out. So we'll see. But I would not be surprised if they do an Allison twist. Let's just say that Laurie kills Michael at the end of the movie, and then Allison kills Laurie, and it's right outside the Myers house, and the camera shot pans far away, like the opening of the original film and like the opening of Halloween Kills, and it just shows Allison holding the knife, just standing there with like Laurie dead on the ground, and like the house is in flames, and it just ends with that original music, and goes, and then it just says Halloween ends. Literally Halloween ends. Laurie died. Allison's the killer. Michael's dead. He died in the fire. Boom, Halloween ends. I could see that. Um, but you know what? We don't know what to expect with this movie, and I think that's what's exciting about it, is that we don't know. I think uh, I personally wish they wouldn't do that. LOL. You personally what? Mario Mania. I think the original one night arc sounded cooler. Yeah, yeah, because I mean, but here's the thing, I just felt like by the end of Halloween Kills, it's just like where do they go from there? By that point, like a time jump doesn't make sense after Halloween Kills. I mean, it kind of would have made more sense with Halloween 2018. I thought that Halloween Kills was going to take place like a year after Halloween 2018, and that Halloween Kills and Ends would take place the same night, but it would be a time jump from 2018. Because I don't know, because the ending of 2018, like the house ended in flames, Laurie was wounded, and it was a good ending. Uh, it, but they wrote it that way. They easily could have just shown Michael Myers escape from the fire, with the firefighters, and then jump, you know, years later, or a year later, a couple years later after that. Um, and I think that would have been better than kills taking place on the same night as 2018. But we'll see. We'll see what they do with Halloween Ends, and um, it's just crazy that's gonna be set 4 years, after the last 2. So I feel like it's gonna be very different from the last 2 movies, but then David Gordon Green is directing the 3rd one. So it's not like it's gonna be a completely different director. It will be the same director, so we'll have a similar tone to the previous 2 movies, which is good. Um I just hope it doesn't feel exactly like the last 2 movies, because if it is set 4 years later, it should feel a little different, because, people change, the world changes, time changes. So when you say you get to 4 years later, some things are gonna be a little different than usual. Uh, but and Mario Mania, why do you think the original one night arc sounded cooler? I'm kinda nervous about it, but hopefully they have a plan, LOL. Yeah, I know, because what are they gonna do now? It's no longer set on the same night, you know? That's so I wonder, like, how much they're gonna incorporate, the original Halloween Ends screenplay, with, like, how they changed it to 4 years later, like, what is kept from that original version of Halloween Ends, you know? Hopefully, we'll find that out when the movie comes out, like, stuff that they removed or cut that, you know, some things that they still included in Halloween Ends that was in the original, draft of the screenplay. Alright, so alright, we'll talk more about, movies and, TV. I'll talk about the Chucky series. I know I haven't done a series review of it yet, but I promise I will. Um, it's when I'm ready to review it and, like, I gotta rewatch it a lot, and really study the show and, like, so I can give, like, a proper review. I, rewatched I for the first time, I rewatched all the episodes, because I watched them on Sci-Fi Channel and USA, when they came out, so I sat through, like, the commercials and stuff. But, and I did that with the Scream show too, and the Scream show came out. So watching it, like, without commercials is a lot easier to, like, follow everything that's going on. And I watched it on my Oculus, Quest 2, so I watched it on, like, Amazon Prime, theater, that they have on the Oculus. So I was, like, watching it in a movie theater, so the show felt like this one long movie. It really didn't feel like it was different episodes. It felt like this one long thing. Uh, so that was cool, to rewatch them, and, yeah, I'd say Chucky, the TV series, is like the best. Um, I don't know, like, of any like franchise, returning. Even though we've had the Chucky series, it's never gone anywhere. But um, after that reboot, this felt like a revamp of the franchise, and it shows that Chucky can work as a TV series, and they can do a lot with it, and I was just so surprised with what they pulled off, and poor Nika, from Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, like, her character never had it easy. She never had a chance, it's so sad. Out of any character in the Child's Play films, all the movies, like, Nika is the character that I have the most sympathy for, um, yeah, and she's identifiable as well, so she yeah, I do feel bad for her. She's been framed for murder. She was put in a psych ward, dealt with that warden or that doctor or whoever he was that hypnotized her and who knows what did to her. And then she was possessed by Chucky, and then to be possessed, not possessed, in and out. Like that would suck. Only to, like, get your arms and legs removed, just because uh, Tiffany doesn't want Chucky to go into her body again. That was a horrific moment. Um, so this show was whoa, it definitely surprised me on many levels, and had good acting. Like, the adult characters were great. Like, oh my god, like, it was yeah, for Chucky, I was very impressed, that it turned out to be such a great show. I was not expecting that. Anyway, um, I just feel like suddenly changing the story's plans is kind of a weird move, but who knows, it could be the right move. Yeah, I'm hearing it's good. I just have to get around to seeing it. That last Chucky film I saw was the 2013 film. Yeah, Curse of Chucky was a really great movie. You do need to watch Cult of Chucky though before Chucky, because Cult of Chucky sets up the TV series. I why I didn't like the movie when I first saw it because it was different from all the other movies, and I didn't understand why. Now and now that the TV show paid off, Cult of Chucky isn't as bad as I remember it. I hated that movie when it first came out. If you go back to my review of that film years ago, I despised that movie bad, but now I don't know. I like it now. The show enhanced that film very much, but yeah, Cult of Chucky was a very different kind of entry to all the other films because you think it's going to be a certain way, but then it turns out to be a completely different movie than you would expect it to. It was definitely the most surprising Chucky film out of all of them. It was definitely the most shocking and like the most like what's going on here? Where's the story going to go? What's happening? It definitely it keeps you intrigued. Um, but it got a lot of mixed responses from the fan base, which is understandable because that was the first time the franchise tried new things that they didn't really try before. But it didn't work so for me at first, but then when the show came out, then I was okay with it. So I would highly recommend, yes, Cult of Chucky and the TV series. Definitely check them out. Chucky show is now available on Peacock. I believe it's on demand on USA and Sci-Fi if you have DVR, and then it's also available to own now if you have it's on Vudu or Apple TV or Amazon Prime. I mean, whatever you have, uh, it's available. So definitely highly recommend it. Um, it's I say the show is even better than the Scream show, um, and yeah, it just it was great. It was great. It is a great show, and they already greenlit a season 2, and it's called Chucky 2. Like, I'm so pumped for this. Oh my god. This is, like, the best thing to ever happen to this franchise is a TV series. Really, really, seriously. I mean, whoever thought that they could turn Chucky into a TV show and it can work, the fact that it did work, I mean, man, wow. And it had some really brutal moments that the season. A lot of times where it got you and times where you felt bad for some characters or like the show did a really good job with character drama. It wasn't goofy all the time. It also took itself seriously and they developed, characters on the show and that character development was really cool to see because not every character in the franchise gets developed or developed really well. So the show gave that opportunity for them to do that. Finally, some horror IP is numbering their titles. LOL. Yeah, I know they're calling it Chucky 2. It's same as what they do with Stranger Things. They called straight Stranger Things season. They didn't call it season 2 of Stranger Things. They called it Stranger Things 2. Same with Stranger Things 3. Um, so it's kind of like a sequel, I guess. Um, And I guess because, like, the previous movies were called Seed of Chucky or Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, that the fact that this is just called Chucky, I guess, is a sequel title of its own, just being called Chucky, and that's why they can call the next one Chucky 2, but, that really just represents it's a 2nd season, but I wonder, do you guys think that this new season of Chucky, do you guys think that they're gonna wrap it up, the franchise, or do you think that they're gonna keep this going if season 2 does do well? Do you think that they'll make a season 3 and it'll be a 3-season, thing? Or, do you think it's just a 2-season? I thought it was just gonna be 1 season, uh, the Chucky show. I thought it was only 1 season and it was deliberately it was gonna be for TV in 8 episodes, so the writers and directors could have time to flesh out the story more and really wrap up the plot of this franchise, without having to do it in like an hour and 35 minutes. That they could, and and you see that like they could have easily made another straight to video Chucky movie, you know, and it could have been good, like just like Curse of Chucky was. But yeah, if they weren't able to financially put another Chucky movie like with Brad Dourif on the big screen, I think this TV series was like the perfect way to go. But anyway, I guess since you guys haven't watched the show, I don't know why I'm talking about it then. And it's amazing. A lot of you guys haven't even checked it out. I mean, it was on cable. It's been available. And I don't know. I don't know. But if it does well enough, I'm sure more will come, even if it doesn't need it. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I hope not. I hope it ends on a high note. I want to see the series end on a high note, and I don't want to see filler. I don't want to see it keep going on and on and on. Because this first season of Chucky did not feel like filler. It didn't. Nothing was dragged out. Um, every episode was amazing pacing, and it feels like one long movie. So if they can do that again, great. I don't think it needs any more than 2 seasons. Um, we've had this franchise since 1988. I mean, the first movie came out um, a few years before I was born. I was born in '95, so um, yeah, it's been around for quite some time, and there was Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, and then Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and now you have the TV series. So I think a solid 2-season run is fine by me, to be honest. I'd rather it be two solid seasons than it to go on for like 4 or 5 seasons and it just, is bad. So I could ask you guys this, what do you guys think of Child's Play 3 after all these years? I remember when I first watched that on HBO as a kid, I thought it was so bad, so bad. I just remember really loving the first 2 films, and I thought the 3rd one was gonna be like that, and I was so surprised that it was not that at all. And, even though Chucky was Chucky in that movie, he was still a lot like how he was in the first 2 movies. It didn't really save the film for me, and Bride of Chucky was to me was a revamp of the franchise. The series needed Bride of Chucky after Child's Play 3. Um, and I'm glad they went into a different direction. I do think Seed of Chucky was too comical, was too cheesy. I wish that film would have been more serious. It would have taken itself a little more seriously. Not that I love humor in this franchise, but I feel like they overdid it. Um, but let's see. I think I only saw it once. I can barely remember it. Yeah, yeah. When I have a Child's Play marathon, I don't I skip the 3rd movie every year. I'll watch the first one, I'll watch the second one, I'll watch Bride, I'll watch, uh depends on the mood I'm in, Seed of Chucky. I don't always necessarily watch that one, but sometimes I do. Um, and then, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, I'll watch those. Um, but, yeah, the first 2 films are definitely the best. And then Bride of Chucky. And then Curse of Chucky. I say those are the best entries. The first 2, Bride of Chucky, and then Curse of Chucky. Um, I think those ones were the best done out of all the films. I think Child's Play 3 failed on many levels, if to all levels. Seed of Chucky, had a lot of great ideas and I kind of like the whole Glenn and Glenda storyline and all that, but I wish it would have been a little more serious, and I guess more like how Bride of Chucky was, because Bride of Chucky was goofy, but it still had a form of seriousness to it. So, yeah, um, but anyway, people keep leaving my live stream. There's, like, 0 people now. Am I being boring? Am I saying things that aren't interesting? I mean, that's what this live stream is about, is talk about movies and TV shows and all that. Seed of Chucky is ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you just wanna watch it, just to watch, like, a bad, Chucky movie, I mean, it's not like Child's Play 3 where it's so bad I can't watch it. Seed of Chucky is where it's like, it's so bad it's good kinda movie. It's like one of those kind of films where it's like, it's so bad, you can laugh at it. Um, but yeah, it was, Sea of Chucky was definitely, in a way, it was ahead of its time, and I think that's gonna show in the future. But I was never like a huge fan of that movie, but I remember watching it all the time when it came. Excuse me, when it came out on HBO. Um, it was yeah, excuse me, it was entertaining, but I wasn't like, oh, this is the best Chucky movie by any means. I thought it was stupid, but I laughed anyway. Excuse me. And uh yeah, yeah. So, but I'm glad that the series went back to being serious again, and taking itself seriously. And even though the Child's Play show has like a lot of comical moments, Chucky is still a lot is more like how he was in the first two movies, and Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. He's not as goofy, which is good. Like, I kind of like that he's super serious, but also funny at the same time. You know, I love that. I'm not a monster, Jake. He does the hands. I'm not a monster, Jake. Like, he had funny moments in the show, and like, uh uh, mommy's moving up my list pretty effing quick. Like, that was really funny. Like, um, he had some really good comical moments for sure. Like, oh god, I love hospitals with all the needles. When he falls into all the needles. That was funny. He had some good comical moments, but then you had some really serious moments with the show. And Yeah, it had a good soundtrack, it had a lot of good music, but there were times where Chucky was pretty terrifying on that show. And anyway, I can't. Why am I talking about it? If you guys haven't even seen the show. Favorite horror film of the last 5 years? Mine is Hereditary. Good question. All right, favorite horror film in the last 5 years. Okay, all right. Let me think. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna be real here, and I'm gonna get a lot of disagreements, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The past five in the last 5 years, Three from Hell. Yep, I said it. Three from Hell is to me the best horror movie in the last 5 years, for sure. Because even though Three from Hell, it's not The Devil's Rejects, it's not House Thousand Corpses. I still love that movie. I still love Three from Hell. I saw it in the theater twice. Even though it was only in theaters for 3 nights, I saw it twice. Um, and I remember getting it on digital and on Blu-ray, and I remember watching the unrated cut for the first time, and I was like, "Okay." Um, and I don't know, I just really, really love that movie. I was very surprised. I was hoping it was gonna be that great, um, especially that it's a direct sequel to The Devil's Rejects. And um, for it to be, and it was a little unrealistic of how they wrote, the beginning of that movie, from the end of Devil's Rejects, like, oh, chances of survival is less to a million to one. Uh, I don't know, like you just have to get past that, over the top, you know, writing that, oh, they survived the shooting at the end of the movie kind of thing. You have to. I almost wish that they would have wrote that ending part as a dream sequence, and that they were just apprehended. They were put in and thrown away in prison and all that while they were driving away, and maybe Otis passed out, and then they were found, and then taken to to yeah instead of, oh, they survived all these gunshots. I don't know, it was kind of like. And then there was a concept that Rob Zombie originally had, is that they all died, went to hell, and made a deal with the devil, and then went back, and then they became alive. Uh, so, but Rob Zombie chose not to do that. I think wants to get away from that supernatural element. But people love A House, a Thousand Corpses, so but he hates that movie. So that's probably why he didn't want to incorporate anything supernatural in there. But I would have been fine with that. But other than that, the movie is a great film. Some characters have really short screen time that you wish they would have had more screen time, but just the fact that those characters are in the movie is a big deal, and they do have their moment to shine, and their scenes are memorable even though they're short. But it's a really great movie. And to me, that's Sherry Moon Zombie's best acting of any movie that she's ever done. Honestly, of any movie that she's ever been in, that was her best acting. Because I always thought her best acting was when she played Baby in House Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, especially House Thousand Corpses. That was my favorite performance by her until Three from Hell. Because Three from Hell, she went back to how she was in House Thousand Corpses, but like even went even further. And um, to me, she made that movie, which surprised me. I was like, "Wow, Sherry Moon Zombie is the best part of this film. There's no way." But she was great. She was great, and she had me intrigued throughout the whole film. And then Otis, he was great in the movie as well. Um, and then Richard Brake was good as well. I wasn't expecting that. It had a good cast, and it had a lot of good acting. And yeah, Otis had a lot of good scenes in the film. So it was definitely very heavily focused on Otis and Baby, this film. But yeah, I thought it was a great movie. Um, and not everybody liked it, but I enjoyed it. So that's what matters to me, is that I love that movie and nobody can take that movie away from me. That I can watch it my whole life. Rob Zombie should have directed a Texas Chainsaw film. He should have. And you know what? He was offered to direct the 2003 remake, and he turned it down because he was against remakes. And then what happens 4 years later after that? He remakes Halloween, which Texas Chainsaw Massacre fits Rob Zombie a lot more than Halloween, you know? Um, it was interesting that the Weinsteins even wanted to go to Rob Zombie for Halloween, you think they would have want to have gone to someone like James Wan, or like, um, I don't know, Eli Roth, or I don't know, like some or what was it, the director of that Friday remake and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Marcus, Nispel? That's his name. You think they would have, went to different directors that, um, I don't know, that just weren't as Rob Zombie? Um, because Halloween, it's suspense, and it's not really for shock value. So, it was surprising that they went to Rob Zombie, even though he did a good job, and especially the sequel. But uh, interesting choice. for sure. I think that if Platinum Dunes would have done the Halloween remake, it would have been, just like the original, honestly. It probably would have been a good remake, to be honest. Even though it would have been Platinum Dunes, I actually think that actually would have been a good remake because they would have done the structure like the Nightmare remake or like the Friday remake or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, it would have still have been Michael Myers. Like, they would have brought the shape back. They would have added that suspense. I think they would have done all that. It would have had a Platinum Dunes vibe to it, but it still would have been Halloween, I think. I think it would have made a lot of money, I think, as well. But anyway, they should have gotten the guy who did It Follows or T.I. West to direct a Halloween film. Yeah, yeah. I mean, someone that is, a little familiar. You know what? I would love a James Wan Halloween film. I don't know, what do you guys think of that? After the Saw, The Conjuring, Dead Silence, I mean, oh my god, it keeps going on and on. James Wan, you know? Imagine James Wan directing a Halloween film, writing and directing a Halloween film. That would be the most incredible thing ever, because he is like the greatest horror filmmaker for our generation, my opinion. He is the best. He completely changed the horror genre after Scream and Urban Legend, and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and all those '90s horror films. Because the horror genre was kind of in limbo for a while until Saw, and once Saw came around, then we had Hostel, we had this, we had that, you know, and then The Conjuring. I mean, wow, and just all the films that he's done. He's brilliant. So that would have been a good choice. He understands suspense exactly, and that's what people love about the Halloween franchise is the suspense, not the gore, not the kills. It's the suspense. It's the edge of your seat. Where is Michael Myers? He's in the shadows. Where is he going to appear? James Wan would make that kind of Halloween film. It would be more heavily relied on suspense and scaring you that way than just brutal kills. So I think James Wan would be brilliant for a Halloween film. Absolutely brilliant. Halloween needed, the Strangers vibe. Yeah, or get the director, I don't know his name, but the director of The Strangers. Oh, yeah, that guy was in talks of doing a Halloween film for a certain amount of time, I think. Yeah, I think, he was in talks for a little while about doing a Halloween film. Uh, and I think a lot of fans wanted him to direct a Halloween film because his style would have been great for a Halloween movie. Oh my god, that suspense, that drawn out suspense. You need that for a Halloween film. We haven't really had that in any Halloween film. Even Halloween 2018, we didn't get that. Halloween Kills certainly wasn't that. You know, um, so it would be interesting to see just like a Halloween film where it's just suspense, 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 and that's what is the horrific part of the movie. If a filmmaker can make that work, of course you have to have the gore and the kills, but it'd be nice to see a filmmaker, make a Halloween film that is a lot like the originals, and that formula that it used to be. Um, So, I don't know. I would love to see any director. I want James Wan to do the next after Halloween ends. If they do a Halloween movie, I want James Wan to do his Halloween film, even if it's a reboot, a remake. If it's James Wan, I'm down. So imagine that with John Carpenter's score and Dean Cundy's cinematography. Exactly. My God, you know, yeah. And I don't know if Dean Cundy, like, I think Dean Cundy deliberately, he doesn't wanna do it because he probably wants, like, major profit for it, which is understandable because he did shoot the first 3 movies, and they are the best shot, you know, horror films, to be honest. If you look at the original Halloween, Halloween 2, and then Season of the Witch, they're beautifully shot films. I mean, his cinematography was, like, that's some of the greatest cinematography I've ever seen ever in film. So he's obviously not affordable, and I would hope that with Halloween Ends, they could still try to get Dean Cundey to do the cinematography. Like, I would hope because, the profit that the series has made, that they would have the money to be able to, afford Dean Cundey. I honestly why if this is Halloween Ends, it's gonna be the last Halloween movie, why not bring back the original cinematographer, that did the original film? That would just be absolutely brilliant, you know? Even though whoever did the cinematography for, Halloween Kills did a really great job. The way that opening, the flashback scenes were shot looked just like the original movie. So that stuff was shot great, and, it is a great looking movie, Halloween Kills. It's just you can tell that after the opening, after the flashbacks, the movie no longer feels like it was shot in film, and it feels like it was shot in digital, and it has that digital flair to it, where you can tell it's not film, 100%, and that they're using film lenses, but not actual film. So, it would be nice if they got Dean Cundey to not only do the cinematography, but also to use actual film. Even though I know film has become more expensive throughout time, I guess that's why film isn't used as much as digital. But it would be nice if they even did 16 millimeter film and Dean Cundey shot it. I would love that. A lot of what makes Halloween as it is the score and cinematography, like almost it almost makes the film. Yeah, yep. Um, the cinematography and the music is like the best part of it, really is, because, like, the way your movie is shot is so important, because that's what draws people in, is how your movie is filmed, how it's shot, and, like, how you're drawn to that with the music. It's just example is the opening of the original movie, you know? Just that first shot, when the camera does this to the house, and it does that slow pan, and then it goes to here, then it goes up here, and then the camera goes here, and it's like the killer's point of view, and like the camera goes upstairs, it goes into this room, and then it goes down, and like, and then it does a faraway pan when it's revealed that the killer is a kid, and it's like, just brilliant cinematography, and that carried on with Halloween 2, you can say what you want about Halloween 2, people that don't like it, but it's still shot better than all the Halloween films today. And Season of the Witch, it's that's one of the greatest looking movies, my opinion, in terms of cinematography. So, Dean Cundey is a genius. He is a legend, and if they can get him back, I really hope they could. I would love for him to do Halloween Ends. I think that would be incredible, absolutely incredible. I hope it's not just another cinematographer that's like, "We're gonna shoot this in digital and shoot it in 30 days, and we have because it's in digital, we can get it done so quickly. Yeah, 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 yeah. Then when we're in post-production, we'll make it look more like film and yada, yada, yada." I mean, they have the budget now where they can afford Dean Cundey, I mean, these last 2, well, Halloween 2018 made over 200,000,000, and then Halloween Kills, for this pandemic, it made almost 200,000,000. So, I don't know what they have to lose by this point. These movies have made insane amount of profit, and then not to even include, Peacock, the money they made off of Peacock, I mean, yeah, definitely get Dean Cundey back. If they can get John Carpenter to do the music, get Dean Cundey to do the cinematography, you know? Like like, yeah, but, that's clearly more Dean Cundey than the studio, 'cause I don't see the studio being like, "Eh, we don't want one of the greatest cinematographers in the history of cinema to do our movie." I think that they would go to him. I do remember hearing that they went to Alan Howarth to do the music for Halloween 2018 before it was confirmed that it was John Carpenter. They went to Alan Howarth, and he said, "Only if they pay me a lot." And they didn't pay him. So I feel like the studio they just don't wanna pay people a certain amount of profit. They wanna save as much money as possible. which is why when they get actors to do, re-recording their audio, like in movies, like dubbing, it's not the same actor, it's a voice actor because they're more affordable than the actual actor because they're more expensive. So, um, it's crazy stuff, how they make movies work, you know? But, yeah, that's nuts to me that they'll use, voice actors to do the dubbing of real, actors in films, and you don't even know, you know? Uh, that's just crazy, 'cause then you wonder, well, how much is it that actor's performance then if it's not their voice, you know? Because I guess there's certain actors where, like, they can't, you know, get an accent down to a T, like, they have to have an accent that's different, for a movie or something. They have to sound a certain way. They'll get a voice actor for that, and it's kept under wraps, obviously. But people think that the actor, that was their voice. It's just crazy stuff. But anyway, he could be a sentimental person and want to return to where he started, but he is also one of the more successful people to come out of the Halloween franchise. So he may feel like he's above Halloween. Uh, Zach Bartron. Yeah. It's, sounds pretty mm, accurate, I guess. I mean, he probably feels like, yeah, I did the original, I did the second one, the third one. I made my mark on this franchise. If I go back to it, it's not going to be the same. I don't know, maybe because he's not working with the same crew anymore. But then, like, he would have John Carpenter there on set, and Jamie Lee Curtis and Nick Castle, and he would have them cheering him on. Like it's not like Halloween Ends is going to be, everybody completely new, and also he worked with different directors, with Rick Rosenthal and then Dee Wallace, for Halloween 2 and 3, and so he's worked with different directors. That's not just John Carpenter. So, I don't know. Um, it's just the way he shoots it, the way he is shot his films. I really hope they can get him back, but it's most likely not going to happen. And Halloween Ends will be shot in digital. It'll look like it'll be shot in digital, and everyone will be like, "Yeah, this wasn't shot in film." You know, I don't know. I feel like Halloween, the movies should be shot in film. I like that Rob Zombie did shoot his remakes in 16 millimeter film. I like that he didn't shoot them in digital. Because I don't think the Halloween films should be shot in digital. They should either be filmed in, I don't know, 75 millimeter, 35 millimeter, or 16 millimeter. As long as it's film, you know, um, then great. They can always do a 4K HDR thing, with it after. And I hear that you can do more remastering and cleaning up and all that with film than you can with digital. It's harder to remaster something digital than remaster something that was film. That's why a lot of movies that are like restored from back then that are like cleaned up, or on Blu-ray, or or HDR, digital, they look like brand new movies. They sound like new movies because those movies were shot in film, so that's why they hold up. Because remastering old movies, those negatives, you're more likely to get some more superb picture out of those than if you were to remaster movies digitally. Because I'm sure people have seen films that were shot in digital, cleaned up, but it's not the same. You know, um, so. But, hopefully one day we get another Halloween film that's shot in film. Hopefully the next Friday the 13th movie is shot in film, I think even that Friday remake was shot in film. So, they could use the done 2021 method, shoot on digital, and then print the image onto 35 millimeter film and scan that into the computer to use, for the edit. Yeah, They could do that as well, but then that's digital, media put onto to film, so it's not really technically film. It wasn't shot in film, you know? And you can still tell with Dawn that was that was filmed on digital, you know? I can just tell the difference. You can just tell if it's shot in film or not. So, yeah, I'll give the sequel trilogy, of Star Wars, credit that they shot all 3 of those in film. Abrams shot Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker in 35 millimeter, film, and, Last Jedi, I don't like that movie, was shot in 75 millimeter IMAX, format, so it was still film, just IMAX film. So, it's just important for certain franchises to be shot in film, and Halloween to me is just one of those franchises. I remember talking about this before Halloween 2018 even came out, and worried that they would shoot it in digital and use those, Alexa cameras, and, uh, I was like, mm, you know, was hoping that they would have pushed for that 16 millimeter film, but I guess the budget for Halloween 2018 was 10 million, so I guess they didn't have enough money, and they shot it in 21 days. So there's no way you can shoot a movie today in 21 days in 16 millimeter film, you know. Um, Even though they shot the original Halloween in 35 millimeter, for in 21 days. They had Dean Cundy, of course, but it's just, that's what's missing with the franchise is the film. But I will give the cinematographer credit for Halloween Kills that he did make the opening flashback scenes look like the original movie, and those were the only scenes that look like they were shot in film. Um, uh, for sure, especially when they get to the Myers house, and all those camera angles, it looks like it looks like the old movie, so it has that film look to it. I don't know, maybe they should have just kept that kind of cinematography, later on in the movie to give it that film vibe, but, you know, with contrast saturation, since 2018 storyline takes place 40 years after the original, it's inevitable that it would have a different look, that they would give it a different look, you know? Maybe I wouldn't have if I was the director of the movie. I probably would have made it look just like the original movie, because I would have done what worked. The original is shot so great. Why not? Why would you want any Halloween film to look different from the original movie, So, I probably would shoot a Halloween film, with, um, trying to make it look like the original film. Um, if you watch like Halloween New Blood, um, I try to do that, but also I incorporated certain cinematography shots that I saw in Halloween 2018 that I liked that I included in Halloween New Blood because I didn't because I wanted Halloween New Blood to kind of be a mix of all the Halloween films in one, in a way. So, but it's so important to shoot your Halloween film, you know, to make it look like it's uh, Halloween. But anyway, that's that about Halloween. So, I guess we can talk maybe a little bit about video games. What video games have you guys been playing, and what are you guys looking forward to? Of any video games that are going to be coming out? I know we're in the next gen, time, era, but I can even ask, what do you guys have? Do you have an Xbox One? Do you have a PS4? Do you have a PS5? Do you have a Series S? Do you have a Series X? Do you have a Switch? Do you have are you a PC gamer? Um, are you a mobile gamer? Do you play games on your phone? Uh, you know, one second. Oh, my throat's dry. Oh, oh my god. Okay. Sorry about that. My throat was just getting really dry. I just yeah. Oh, so, I'll end this live stream in about 15 minutes. So that marks a good 2 hours of my live stream. Um, so thank you guys for, like, tuning in this Thursday. I really appreciate it. Um, and, yeah, I wanted to do this for you guys. So, um, I don't I don't any consoles. You mean you don't own? I don't own any consoles, but my brother has a Switch that I've played with some. Oh, no, it's okay, Mario Mania. You don't have to, rewrite your message. It's okay. I get what you meant. It's okay. I don't own any consoles, but my brother has a Switch that I've played with some. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like gaming is gonna become more popular as time goes on, especially that we have virtual reality now. The Oculus Quest, the Oculus Quest 2. Um, I have an Oculus, and it's an amazing experience for gaming. Like if you played Beat Saber, like incredible. And let's see, uh, the Resident Evil game that came out on the Oculus. It just came out. Resident Evil 4 got a remaster, I think. But it's all built and designed for virtual reality. So I'm definitely going to try that game. There's a lot of good games on the Oculus, and then there's it's so fun to watch movies on the Oculus. Like if you have Amazon Prime, oh my God, it's so exciting because you get to watch all these films that you own, your digital library, um, and watch them in a way that you've never. I mean, some movies that I never got to see in the theater, I was able to have that experience thanks to the Oculus. Like the Snyder cut, Justice League, that wasn't gonna get an IMAX release, sadly. That wasn't gonna get a theater release, and I was really hoping because I would have sat through 4 hours of that movie in the theater. I don't care. Probably would have had to have used the restroom at some point, but I would have sat through 4 hours of it. Um, I much would have rather have experienced it in the theater than at home, but watching it on the Oculus, I was able to experience the movie in a way that I didn't never thought I was gonna be able to experience it. Um, so that was extremely fun because, I felt like I was in the theater watching it on HBO Max, even though it's set up differently. It's set up differently on HBO Max and Vudu and certain other sites where you can watch movies full screen, like that. Um, uh, you get the ultimate experience on Amazon Prime for watching films on there. Like the quality's the best, um, and then yeah, HBO Max. It's amazing that that the setup because you do feel like you're in a theater when you watch movies on HBO Max, and especially that you have like new movies coming out. Like I can't wait till like what the Matrix is going to be on HBO Max. The new Matrix movie. I can watch it on my Oculus. Um, because like it is hard to go see a bunch of movies, in the theater. So it is kind of nice that we're given the option right now to be able to see movies in the theater or at home, and I just think it's so cool because it just gives people the option, because not everybody can make it to the theater, or not everybody can go to the movie theater. So it is an incredible thing. It's something that I will miss next year because I know they're gonna no longer do the theater at home kind of thing, or nowhere near as much. next year. But yeah, it was a fun ride this year. Uh, what's the Oculus experience like? It's beyond anything you could ever imagine. It's you just have to get one. I had no excuse me. I had no interest in VR. I had no interest in virtual reality. I thought that the virtual reality headsets that had been around just didn't look really that good. The quality didn't really look that good, and it just didn't come off realistic. So I was like, you know what? If I'm ever gonna get a virtual reality headset, I'm gonna wait till it's more advanced and the graphics are better and it's like in 4K or whatever. Um, I wanted to wait, and then I had someone show me their Oculus one time. It was the Oculus before the Oculus Quest 2, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is wow." So I remember playing Star Wars Episode 3, Vader's and Immortal, which is a lot of fun on the Oculus, and I played all those the Vader games, and it's just incredible. Super Hot in VR is insane, which is a first person shooter. Um, there's the Climb, which is really intense. You need like enormous amount of space if you're gonna play that game. That's why I can't play the Climb game because I don't have enough room for that game. Some games on the Oculus require massive amount of space. So you have to make sure that you are aware of your surroundings, and you always have to create a guardian, so where to stop, and to not hit yourself on a wall or to trip over something. Before I even got my Oculus, I accidentally broke. Um, I was playing the Climb, and I accidentally hit my light chandelier, whatever you call it. It like shattered, like glass literally just like came down. Thankfully, nothing fell on me, but that was crazy because that's when I learned like I got to be a little bit more careful on here. But the Climb was that real and intense, that you really believe you're climbing up a mountain. You're like reaching for the mountain and stuff. So you have to be careful because I have I have messed up. I did mess up one time on the Oculus, but yeah, you can even do simple things on the Oculus like Trip is a calming app. I use that. It's very therapeutic. It does the box breathing. It does 478, and it takes you to these places that are supposed to help you relax. It has like this music. It has like a narrator. You can choose to have the narrator or not, and you just go to these like wonderful places, and it's real. It's only like 5 a month, which is crazy, and it's just like get the demo, and like the demo itself is just absolutely phenomenal. um when I first tried the Trip app, it's not even a game really. It's like therapy. It's there to calm you. It asks you like 0 to 10, like how you're feeling, and you can choose like exactly where how you want your trip to be, your virtual trip, and it's just then they have like some things on the like some features on there that you can like literally just like go to a place and you're just watching it the whole time. Like there's literally like one um part one video where like you're like in the forest in snow, and you're literally just like sitting there looking at the snow, and you're looking at this highway or like this like not highway, this road, and you're just looking all around you, and it's just that the whole time. So it gives you the feeling that you're somewhere else. So the Oculus can make you feel like you are in a completely different environment and you forget where you are. and then you have the stationary then you have your, virtual environment background that you have when you turn on your Oculus, and you can choose different, places to be. It's incredible. Even in space, you can even choose to be in a spaceship. It's absolutely incredible. Sounds neat. Can't imagine how much more advanced VR tech will be in a decade or so. I know. I'll probably wait a long time, after the Oculus Quest 2, until they advance VR even more and there's, like, more games on there, and they finally have HDR on there, and it has all those features, I see that for future, virtual reality. It's just gonna improve from here, and that's crazy, because we're gonna look back at the graphics on the Oculus now, 10 years later, and we're gonna be like, those are we're gonna look at that like how we look at PS2 graphics or even some PS3 graphics in games. So, yeah, but I would definitely recommend, I would almost say wait for the Oculus Quest 3 that's coming out next year if you're gonna get a Oculus or VR. They also have PlayStation VR as well. You can get a virtual reality headset for your PlayStation, and you can play Beat Saber on there and Vader Immortals and all that stuff too. So you can get a great experience either through your console with VR with the PlayStation, or you can get the Oculus. Because I'm a more of an Xbox gamer. I do have a PS4, but since I play on my Xbox One X and Series S most of the time, I got an Oculus, or I wanted an Oculus because it's its own thing, and it makes sense. But I would love to be able to play video games in the Oculus, like holding a controller and just playing, my games, like with the Oculus, and you're like in that world. I would love that. But Facebook did confirm that GTA San Andreas is going to be on the Oculus, and I'm getting that game day one. I don't care if it's that bad remaster that just came out for it. Just the fact that I can play a Grand Theft Auto game in VR is insane, like insane. So I'm really, really excited for the future of Oculus. But that's introduction. So Mario Mania 1, 2, 3, 4. I highly recommend a virtual reality headset. There's a lot of amazing things to it. You can even have your own home desktop in VR. You literally can connect it to your PC and access your documents, your videos, everything through the Oculus. And you have to get an app for it, but on there, but you can literally, you know, work your computer through your Oculus and have your keyboard with you, and like it's crazy, but it's just so cool. So anyway, um, so I'm gonna wrap this up soon, but let's talk a little bit more about something. Let's talk about I don't know, Spider-Man: No Way Home. What are you guys thinking about that movie? The trailers that have come out for it, seeing William Defoe as Green Goblin. He has a way cooler look than he has in the first Spider-Man film. Like, but because he's not wearing the mask, but he has like this certain suit, and he looks even more sinister and evil without the mask with the pumpkin grenade. Oh my god, that was so great. Um, Seeing Doctor Octopus, the original one from Spider-Man 2 is just so exciting. And I don't know, I feel like this is going to be the best Spider-Man film in years in terms of a solo Spider-Man movie. I'm not including the spin-offs. I mean the crossover films, the Avengers movies and all that. But in terms of Spider-Man solo film, I think this is the best we're going to get after since Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. My opinion. I mean, this looks awesome. We're getting those original villains back. They're going to have like, that classic dialogue. It's just, I don't know. I feel like we're going to get something really awesome out of this. And if you notice, the trailers show nothing but, they show everything but Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. We know they're in this movie. They're hiding it from us, and they're gonna shock us when the movie comes out, and it's gonna be a moment that everyone's gonna scream and cheer at the screen and clap, and people are gonna be like, "No, what?" You're gonna see all 3 Spider-Mans working together, taking down all these villains. I tell you, there is no way Tom Holland's Spider-Man is taking down every single one of these villains by himself. There is no way. I mean, there is no way. Absolutely no way. So, um, they're definitely hiding that, and it's smart because it is gonna be like a surprise for people when people see it, you know? Um, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it opening weekend because tickets got sold out like this. So, I'll probably have to see it, after opening weekend, and I'll have to literally avoid the internet for days until I see that movie because there's going to be nothing but leaks when that comes out. They're going to say, "Oh, Tobey Maguire's in it, Andrew Garfield, they were in this scene. We're gonna, trailer video breakdowns of this and that, or leaks, or this. Like I don't want to know any of that. I want to go into this like not knowing, and that's why I like to go to these films opening weekend not because, "Oh, I wanna go opening weekend," it's because I don't want it spoiled, because on the internet, they spoil everything. And I say that the best, times that people were the most respectful to people about not spoiling stuff was Star Wars. I remember when The Force Awakens came out, people weren't talking about Han's death, that Han Solo died in that movie when that first came out. People didn't talk about Han's death scene till, like, 2 months after it came out. Like, that was good that people didn't know. That was, that when people walked into it, they didn't know what was gonna happen. Um, Same as, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, things weren't leaked, which I liked. People weren't leaking things to people or spoiling it for them uh, right away. It took at least a month or a couple months. And so I hope that, Marvel fans can be respectful to people with this movie and not spoil things right away. And, you know, um, yeah, I want to go into it fresh. I'm looking forward to it. Yep. Same. I don't want to know what happens. I really don't. The trailers showed just enough for me and it really sucks that I can't see this opening weekend. I almost wish that it would be on Disney Plus at the same time because then, people that couldn't make it opening weekend or couldn't, get the tickets for opening weekend could, see it on Disney Plus, and that way it's not spoiled for everybody. Everybody gets to see it at the exact same time. And I would have just watched it on my Oculus, and I still would have got a very similar experience that I would have gotten in the theater, and then I would go ahead and see it in the theater after watching it on Disney Plus. I still would go see it in the theater after. So, I do worry, with leaks and stuff. I just see it, it's just stuff's gonna get leaked and it's gonna be like, "Oh, great." So, um I don't even want it leaked that Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire are in the film. So when this movie does in fact come out, I'm gonna avoid the internet. I may not make any videos for like a week, couple weeks. It depends on when I can make it to the theater, when tickets are available. And once I see the movie, then I'll do a review of it for sure. But yeah, very excited. This definitely going to be bigger than Endgame. The tickets that they got sold out like that. Like I definitely see this being highest grossing film of the year and being up there with Avatar and The Force Awakens and all those big blockbuster films, Titanic and all that. I think it's going to be up there for sure. Because Spider-Man 3 was back in 2007. It was listed as one of the highest grossing movies. So, yeah, I definitely think this is gonna make a lot, especially if Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire are in it. It's gonna make a lot of money. So, how cool, the movie is gonna start out as like a typical Tom Holland Spider-Man film, and then leads into something that you would never expect it to be. and takes you back to all your childhood nostalgia, you know? I mean, oh, this could be a masterpiece, you know, and let's hope it is. It's MCU, you know, and they've been known to make some of the greatest superhero movies in recent years. So, we'll see. I'm not personally a big fan of the director of the new Spider-Man films. I don't think he really gets it. Um, feel like Mark Webb and Sam Raimi understood Spider-Man more than the director of the new films. But we'll see what he does. It looks like he's doing a good directing job for this third movie. So maybe he learned, from the past two films, and is going to improve upon his directing. Imagine if they're not in it. LOL. I will walk out of the theater. No, when the movie ends, I will boo at the screen and walk out of the theater. That's what I'm gonna do. I never boo to a movie ever. The last time I booed at a movie was what was it called? My Soul to Take from Wes Craven. That was one of his last movies. That was before Scream 4. I booed to that movie. It was that bad, and I normally don't ever boo to a film, but if it makes me that mad, I'm definitely gonna boo at the screen. Because I'm the person that always claps at a movie, even if it was an okay film. It's like, oh, it was okay. That's great. Um, but yeah, if they're not in this movie, I will be super super angry, for sure. And the review is not going to be a good review, and because yeah, that would suck. That would absolutely suck. I mean, why? Why would they not be in it? Why would you bring back the original villains only to not bring back the original Spider-Mans? Even if you just brought back one, even if it wasn't Tobey Maguire or not Andrew Garfield, if it just was one over the other, you have to include one of them. You have to incorporate one of them, if you're going to do this whole multiverse, because now with the multiverse, anything's possible now. Everyone's like, oh, they could make this movie, and they could make it canon with the multiverse. They could do this now. They could do that now. So the multiverse definitely changed, everything now when it comes to superhero movies. It's changed everything. And we haven't even had our first real multiverse movie yet, which is No Way Home. Then we're getting The Flash, which is another multiverse movie. But that's where cinema is heading in terms of superhero films. But I think that's awesome, because what a way to be able to, um, uh, fix plot holes from the previous, superhero films, and to enhance characters from previous movies, and try to make, some bad superhero films look like better superhero movies. I feel like the multiverse is going to open up all these opportunities to tell all these different kinds of stories, and everyone can be happy. I feel like with the multiverse, like, they no longer have to stick to a certain structure. That they're no longer limited, it seems like. So, well, guys, I'm gonna be having my next table read for The Devil's Servants next weekend. Um, it's in about a week or 2 weeks. I'm gonna be having the next table read with my actors, and then casting is gonna get rolling more. I'm gonna be casting more people, and filming is going to start next month. So, at the time when they start filming, Halloween ends is the time I'm going to be filming The Devil Servants and Insane Cage of Madness Part Two. So, that's gonna be pretty cool because it'll remind me of 2018, because I remember making three movies that year: Ghostface Story, uh, The Twilight Short, and The Devil Servant. And The Devil Servant, that came out just about 2 weeks, before Halloween 2018 came out. So, if I release The Devil's Servant in October, that'll be at the same time Halloween Ends comes out. So, it's, I don't know, kind of ironic. Um, uh, nice. Hope everything goes smoothly. Thank you. Thank you. I hope so too. I really hope so. I mean, yeah, I would love if everything goes smoothly. It's hard to get actors after the pandemic. It is. It's facts. Like, you have to have money. I don't got money. So yeah, this could be a long process. I just ask you guys to just hang in there with me. I'm going to do everything in my power to get these movies made, and I'm going to figure something out. You guys know I always come up with something creative and all that. So I'm going to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. It's just everybody is entering the world again, and um, definitely, the pandemic had an impact on a lot of people. So, um, I don't want to push people, if they're still, adapting to being back in reality, because we're still living in this at the same time. It's not like, that has become the flu yet, um, or something even less severe. So we're still living in that right now, and that's what's definitely holding these films back quite a bit. Because before the pandemic, uh, these movies were made like that, not like, like with money. It was like snap, 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 like fast, fast, fast. Because I made it happen. My mom made it happen. My sister made it happen, and yeah, and we had, like, the right crew, we had people that were willing to do it nonprofit, like, we just had everybody, and when the pandemic happened, it just messed everything up, um, so I just have fingers crossed that anything is gonna go well after everything that's happened with our world, honestly, so we'll see. I said filming was gonna start in September. Here we are in December, and there's still, I haven't even casted everybody and heard an official go from people. So yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And yeah, because it's like, what I'm here to just keep telling you guys bad news, about these movies, and it sucks because I'm so used to giving you guys good news about these movies and updates, and it's very bizarre that it's just, it's not like that, and I really hope, sooner than later I can, um, you know, get these movies done, get trailers out, not a bunch of trailers, but like get a trailer out, and behind the scenes, and get a lot of content out for my channel, because that's what I want to get, that kind of content out, not necessarily always reaction videos or live streams. I would love to, you know, get more movies out. That's just what I've been doing since I was 14. So it's strange to for me to um that things are put on hold like this. I'm not used to it at all. Because I've been used to movies being put on hold before, but before the pandemic, it was much easier to work those things out and figure those things out and how to fix those, or how to, do things differently to make things work. It's like impossible right now. It's absolutely impossible. Um, it's gonna work out once you get into the swing of things again. It'll be like you never stopped. I really hope so. I really hope so. So hopefully these movies will be made sooner than later, and I can get them out for you guys next year, and and you guys can enjoy new films from me. So um, 'cause I take release dates very important, like, the kind of movies that I make, I wanna get them out, like, in that October, November, December time, and not January, February, kind of time. So, it was even difficult for me to release The Miner versus Jason: A Ghostface Story in February of 2018 because I thought, "Oh, great," because it's a February movie, maybe people won't like it, you know? But it got the responses it surpassed what I thought, the responses it was gonna get. So, um, we'll see. Maybe movies are a little different, being released, like, on digital, on YouTube, uh, in January, February than movies being released in the theater in January, February. So I don't know how you guys would feel about that if I ever got one of my movies out in January or February. I mean, I remember Halloween November 2nd came out in March of 2010, and The Haunting of a Ghostface was April of 2011. So those were like my most like uh earliest movies, release dates, like earlier in the year. And they did well, but I just get nervous about that because October time is the perfect time for like horror movies, Like if I was making dramas, then they would work coming out more so in November, December, you know, um, in that range, or even January, February, because it's a drama. So, but thank you, Mario Mania, for your support. Thank you, Zach, for your support. Thank you guys all for tuning into my live stream tonight. I had a really good uh, live stream with you guys. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, you guys were great. So thank you guys for joining my live stream. If you guys have any more questions, if you guys have any questions, I will answer them right now. If not, I'll end the live stream and we'll do this again next week. And if not next week, definitely the week after. I'm definitely gonna live stream again very soon. And yeah, because I've been live streaming and this has been fun. And yeah, so I'll definitely do it again in about a week or so. So this was fun, Ryan. Talk to you next time. All right, talk to you later, Mario Mania. Thank you for being my moderator again tonight. And yeah, you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Hope you guys are enjoying the holidays. Enjoy the holidays. And I promise my next live stream will be before Christmas and all the holidays and at that particular time of the year. So um, yeah, so thank you guys for joining my live stream, and talk to you guys soon. All right, peace.